Hi everybody, this is Dr. John Acker. I made these videos to walk you through the interface on Peerwith.com. I'm an academic editor there. I've been working there for about a year as a freelancer, and I've had a good experience overall with the clients and the administrators, so I wanted to share some information about that. In this first video, I'm going to focus on the way that users post jobs and how you can find those and respond to those. In the second video, we'll get more into the client side, the editor side interface, the expert side as they call it, including billing and receiving your payments, which of course we're all very concerned with. So this is the main Peerwith.com page. Clients have two ways to post a request. They can go through the main site here, or they can go through the Peerwith.expert site. Let me show that latter one to you first. This is a way for them to isolate experts that match with their subject matter or with the kind of work they need. Some of us do multiple editing related jobs, but a lot of experts on Peerwith are there because they want to help people in their fields or people with specific needs like statistical analysis. The basic interface here highlights a few profiles. The best way, though, is to do a keyword search. So I'm just going to do dissertation since that's one of the areas that I work in. And we see a list of clients here. I happen to be at the top because I think I've done the most of everyone else on this list. Let me show you my profile. There's some room to customize this, but mostly it's kind of a snapshot similar to a LinkedIn profile. I list the subject areas here that I have editing experience in. These are the services that I offer at the moment. And then I have my basic profile. The last section is keywords and the ratings. I've done well in terms of maintaining a 5-star rating. You can see most of these are very brief comments, but a lot of clients look at those. It took a little while for me to get started, partly because when I first signed up for the site, I did not have a PhD yet. I was working on my dissertation. And so honestly, most academic clients were not very interested in my services, even though I had 10 years of experience at that point. So if you have a PhD, that will certainly help, or if you can pitch yourself as some sort of expert in a field, that will do well for you as well. From this page, potential clients can request services directly, and this would go to my inbox on Peerwith, and it'll send me an email notification. This is basically a statement of interest. It doesn't tie them down to a particular rate. They can specify a deadline or a budget, and it's basically a way to reach out. Now, this is one thing to keep in mind about the Peerwith site. They strongly prefer that all interactions go through the site. So they do not want you to send your email address to clients. They don't want to say, hey, give me a call and we can work out the details, because they take a commission from the final payment. And of course, if you go through email, there's no way that they can enforce that. The other way clients can post a request is to kind of the general pool, sort of like a classified ad system. And that's through here. You'll see that the basic interface is the same here. They can select the kind of service they're after, and several of these are related to editing, but there are also a lot of academic tasks here. So you might need help in visualizing data, editing figures, putting together PowerPoints. The services you pick and the services you're comfortable doing, of course, will vary. Some people are fine with doing a literature search for colleagues. Others consider that the job of individual clients, especially PhD students. That would be my position. But there's a range here. So even if you have fairly specialized work, you can sign up. I signed up through my Google account, so it's free there. And then they select a subject area. Some of these are fairly specific, like chemical engineering has its own, but a lot of them are broader. Engineering, for some reason, is repeated here. So if the client does not specify the topic or the field, and that's important to you in terms of subject matter expertise or stuff you're comfortable working with, by all means, ask questions. The big advantage of Peerwith is that you can talk to clients for free. You can ask them about their needs. You can clarify the scope of the project before any money changes hands, either from you to Peerwith or from the client to you. This is a big advantage over sites like Thumbtack, any of the other kind of classified base where you pay per contact or pay per bid. Then, of course, they can enter the instructions. Those vary widely, as we'll see in a minute. Deadline and budget are optional. Of course, it's great if every client posts a realistic budget, a clear deadline, and details about exactly what they need. But as we know, clients are human. Sometimes they leave stuff out. Sometimes they're not sure yet. And so you can negotiate those as you go. Once the client posts a ad, it goes to the main services page. There it is. This is the open request page. And as you can see, right now there's a lot of language editing, manuscript writing support is another service. That's more of a consulting, kind of a hand-holding project. And the budgets vary quite a bit. Here's a client who wants 3,500 words for $15. Probably not realistic. But some of these may be more in your range. And of course, we've had conversations about rates all over the place. But this gives you a sense of the range of work. Here's an indexing project. Translation projects show up from time to time. I do mostly copy editing and language editing, so several of these would be useful. And a lot of them, you see, have deadlines on them. Some of them are already passed. There's one for April 7th. It's now April 13th. But it gives you a sense of roughly how many to expect. I'd say right now the site is fairly busy. There are dry patches, so this should not be your only source of jobs, but it works pretty well. Now, once you find a job that you might want to bid on, all the interface works basically like email. So let me find one that looks interesting at least. Okay, so here is an ad for a business paper. You can see the description here. Looks like it has to do with service quality in tourism and hospitality. And this is a pretty good description. The client has set a budget of $220 and 9,300 words, and you can decide whether that's worth it. In this case, I won't actually submit a bid because the deadline is tomorrow, and I really don't have the time to put in that much work with my other responsibilities. But if I wanted to, I could post my initial message here, and I'll show you how that will end up looking shortly. So it's a good interface to post multiple bids. And if it works out that the client doesn't go with you or doesn't respond to your bid, all you're out is the 5 minutes it took to post a bid. When I post bids, I usually use a template and just go through and tweak it depending on the client's needs. For example, this is in the dashboard section, which I'll talk more about in the next video. Here is a bid that I posted the other day. So the original request did not specify a budget, looks like, but said that this is a revise and resubmit. It specifies a journal. This came through one of the Emerald journals, and very helpfully identifies things that the journal reviewers or possibly the editor was concerned about. So that gives me a hint on where to focus my bid, and in my response, right away I talk about the mechanical errors, and then I have a few general things, my qualifications, my experience, and I put in a preliminary bid. Now notice here, this is not an official bid, and I almost always do this because I can't access the document, even if the client attached it, until after I post this initial message. So I say right here, I can provide a more precise quote once I see the manuscript, and that gives me some wiggle room, and then I send my CV in the next message. So this is how the basic interface works. I'm out of time for this screencast, so I'm going to continue this in the next one to talk about the editor side interface.